And welcome here to the virtual Talladega Super Speedway. Tonight we're here for race number 13, the regular season finale for the Contender Series Season 2. Tonight we hit the high banks of Talladega for the Burlington Cafe 250 for our regular season finale. And tonight we'll see who can put it on the final pole position. Currently, as we're qualifying, just getting on the way, the final pole position of the regular season.
Yeah, last week was a great race at Kentucky. A lot of drama kind of in the chase as well as playoffs as well. But looking tonight here to finalize it and for the round of 10 next week. Check.
And Talladega, a lot can happen here, and a lot of these drivers looking for their win, trying to win their way into the playoffs. Some drivers just trying to survive, just trying to make sure they can have enough points to maybe get into tonight. Talladega can be a crucial part of your season. You could easily have everything go bad and everything go wrong. You can easily have something go very right for you. Get a good run out to play your cards right, get up to the front, and maybe try and put yourself in the winning position. You can easily be taken out of it just like that in a split second. So you gotta be careful. These drivers have to be careful where they place their cars tonight. See if they can survive and maybe make it to the end of the race.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see how this plays out as we're now qualifying underway here. Qualifying not the most important, but I want to have a good qualifying position, just also for pit boxes as well. That's probably the most important thing here at a super speedway like Talladega. To have a good pit box. You got a pit lane, and try to get best pit exit you can.
Yeah, and these drivers, they also qualifying definitely big later in the race. Well, not later in the race, but early in the race. Especially, usually we don't have stages here in the Contender Series, but if you have stages, you get up front, try to put yourself in a good position. But put yourself up in a good position early. Try to stay in front of the wreck instead of staying behind the wreck and having maybe something go wrong there. So you want to try and stay in front of the wreck, try and stay up to the front of the pack, and that's definitely where you want to be. It's definitely great to be up front and just try to stay in front of the wreck and just put yourself up front late if you can. But it just allows you to just have a little bit more comfortability up there. You have a little bit more space to move around. It just kind of makes some blocks as well. But it especially that pit road position as well. Your pit box on pit road also a big factor as well.
On the racetrack, about 7 drivers have set their lap time so far in the first lap. Cole Lewis currently on top of the board with a 54.059. He's currently on his second time lap. Usually his fastest lap here at the Super Speedways. First 1 or 2 laps really is getting up the speed, and your third lap is really what counts. As here he comes to the line, using under that yellow line to cut as much track as he can. Across the line, will he go quicker? Not quite. He actually goes 2 tenths slower.
And qualifying, these drivers you have to be very precise, very perfect. Any slip you can lose these multiple hundredths of a second. That can cost you a lot of spots here at a track like Talladega. Rest of your effort, just completing his second lap, 54.114. He'll jump to P3 on the board. Josh Schmidt jumps to the top with a 54.057.
So actually, I was wrong. I guess it seems like the second lap time, or the first timed lap is actually a little bit quicker. It seems like. Interesting there.
Especially at Talladega. Usually getting up to speed perfectly, that's what's faster here at Talladega. Getting up to speed perfectly on your first lap. It's a little bit faster than whatever compared to your second lap of running full flat out all the way pretty much, and even doing the cool down of your tires and trying to keep your tires as cool as possible. That's better. That's also ends up being a little bit slower as well. But Joshua Schmidt's well on the top of the war with his first lap. Here comes to complete lap number 2. Probably going to be a little bit slower as he did not have time to set up this lap here. But Joshua Schmidt's a 54.057. Lap number 2, he will jump. He will stay to the pole, of course, but it'll be a 54.093 as he did not have the time to set that one up. But looks like everyone else has qualified, completed their laps here, and in qualifying, that means Joshua Schmidt. Actually, we do have Calvin Smith, 30 seconds left here on the clock. He's starting down the back straightaway, looking to try and complete his second lap. I don't know if he'll pick up here on lap number 2. We'll see. Down to third number 3. Didn't have much of an arc at all, so you want to try a little bit arc into the corner, use the making just a little bit down. But he didn't really have much of an arc, but he's only in the yellow line, nice and tight here.
There's only 5 seconds
force
though.
The car.
Time's going out for him though. Unfortunately,
maybe just not quick enough. Calvin Smith will not get back to the line. That means Calvin Smith will complete qualifying in 15th tonight with a 54.674, but that means Joshua Schmitz with a 54.057 puts it on the pole here tonight from Talladega. And we'll see if he can hold it up front tonight. But Cole Lewis will join alongside him on the front row as we're getting ready to roll off here from Talladega.
Man, close qualifying there like usual here at Talladega, so we'll see how these drivers stack it up here. 94 laps in total here at the big 2.67 mile racetrack.
And now we get into the race mode. So qualifying, kind of the one thing you mentioned how important it can be with track position with the pit stall as well. But we'll see how these drivers can manage their qualifying positions. Just get up front. The top lane is usually a little bit better on kind of making the runs, especially at Daytona, but this is Talladega a little bit, so we got a little bit more wide, a little bit more lanes to work with, but it could be a little bit harder to get that third lane moving. But bumping a lot, but since the last time you went Super Speedway racing here at the Contender Series, this car has gotten a little bit of updates on the Super Speedways. Bump drafting much more easier in this next gen car, so you can stay hooked up a little bit better, and also I'll push a little bit easier. So we'll see if those drivers can kind of manage that tonight, and maybe try and build some more runs, build some more lanes.
Yeah, you can definitely manage your speed a little bit quicker with the bump drafts, and you can really push hard here. Obviously, you don't want to push it too much, but if you're coming down to 4 or 5 laps to go, you can really push as hard as you can, and if the driver in front can handle it, I mean, you can go really quick. Go from the back to the front really quick as well. So as these drivers rolling off here for their one pace up before we go green.
We'll see how these drivers. We'll see who will be able to move up, who will fall back, and who will manage Bastard Super Speedway Racing here tonight. Before we get rolling any further, let's take a look at tonight's starting lineup for tonight's Burlington Cafe 250 here from Talladega. As it was Joshua Schmitz, you just saw him take the pole. Alongside him will be the 52 of Cole Lewis. Starting at P number 3 here tonight would be the 34 of Rusty Rafferty. Kyle Schmitz will start in 4th, the 19 machine. Starting 5th will be Jason Mullins in the 5, and Dan Barone in the 30. Buke will start 6th. Starting 7th will be the 53 of Robert Whipple. 8th will be the 9 of Cody Dorsey. Starting 9th tonight will be the 88 of Mike D. Marshall and Stephen Horner, and the 71 of Hills Brown at the top 10 here tonight. Starting 11th will be the 14 of Scott Kerberg. And Dakota Bly in the 8 machine will start in 12th. Starting 13th will be Brandon Cuxhausen in that 7 machine. And Angus Takero will start 14th, that 27 machine tonight. Starting in 15th here tonight in that 3 machine, Calvin Smith. And 16th will be the 28 of Brandon Newton. Alright, our 17 car field here tonight with the 17 of Derek Riley here from Talladega. As we're getting ready to go racing. Rounding off of turn number 4 here at the 2.5 mile racetrack, high banks of Talladega. We'll get this to end the regular season. We'll get a nice super speedway thriller here from Talladega, Alabama. The Alright Space Car will take that hard left turn on pit road for the first time here tonight. Joshua Schmitz, and it'll be Cole Lewis on the front row, getting ready to lead them to green as we work our way down to the Iron Reynolds restart zone through the trial. A little bit later restart. Unlike Daytona, the green flag is out. We're underway here from Talladega for the regular season finale.
As they slowly but surely get up to speed. See how big these bump shafts are here as Jason Bombs and Joshua Schmitz pushing each other hard here in the front as they're 1-2 currently on the inside of the racetrack. The outside didn't seem like they get the best initial start. We'll see if they can regroup and try to make a charge here late. It looks like Joshua Schmitz most likely to lead lap number 1 here coming to the trial.
Joshua Schmitz, Jason Bonds working well pretty good on the bottom so far. We'll see if Jason Bonds maybe jumps out of the top lane, tries to steal this lead away. So it's like Cole Lewis will done with the run with Kyle Schmitz down the front straightaway into turn number 1. It will be Cole Lewis able to get side by side. He's almost getting to the outside of Joshua Schmitz here. But still stay dead even pretty much throughout this field right now. Off to turn number 2. The outside starting to get a little bit more momentum now as the outside lane moving much better. Let's get the runs off the corner. Cole Lewis with a good shove from Kyle's just big wiggle out of the back of the top of the upper lane though. Curtis Dorsey falls a little bit farther back, but Cole Lewis will be able to clear in time. They'll hop down in from Josh Smith to take the race lead away.
So we'll see how long he can hang on. Also, the drivers in the back will be able to save a little bit more fuel, maybe 1-2 more laps, even maybe more as well. We have a small fuel load like usual, only 25 laps in total you can go on this fuel tank, what we're being told. So it looks like it's going to be a 3-stop race, lap 25, lap 50, lap 75, if we do go green, all 94 laps.
Also, if you get a couple teammates together, 3 or 4 drivers, 3 or 4 drivers could try to short pit a little bit early, try and stay out in front of the pack and maybe jump away from the pack. They could do that. That's actually an interesting thing there. Jason Bobs, he backs out of the pack there. Wants to go to the back, trying to be a little bit safer in the back of the pack. He wasn't keeping the lead. We'll see how that works out for Jason Bobs. You got to be careful though. But personally, I don't really like staying in the back of the pack. Usually I was that type of driver to back out and go all the way to the back of the pack, try and stay out of the incidents. But now I don't really like being back there, especially with this next-gen car. You can very easily lose the draft with one big checkup in the middle of the pack, or maybe like a half wreck, and everyone saves it and keeps it straight. You can easily lose the draft and eliminate your chance to win if you go green the rest of the way. So I like to stay up a little bit farther up. We'll see Jason Bonhams if that worked out for him in the back. He'll try to stay out of a couple of more incidents in the back of that.
Yeah, a good rule of thumb is you don't want to be the last car in line. You know, if you have a car behind you, that's okay. So I think Jason Bonhams is a good spot. He has the code block behind him, so I think he'll be okay for now. But like you mentioned, your little checkup and you're pretty much done in these next-gen cars with all how much drag he's at.
A little bit back off the pack as they're about a little half second, but now they caught back up now as he got a pretty good run. He'll hop behind the 14 of Scott Kerber for now on the outside lane. But so far, everyone's still together in the back, but the outside lane starting to try to make a little bit more movement, but they're a little bit more separated compared to the bottom lane right now. That seems to be giving the advantage to the inside lane currently at the moment.
Right now, currently outside lane doing a good job led by Cody Dorsey on the top side. Not a big group of cars, only about 6, I believe, there up top. So they're making some headway here down the front straightaway. Cody Dorsey might lead this lap right here, and yes, he will. He'll lead that number 6.
He's actually got a big run here. That 28 machine just behind that Brandon Newton. They'll both clear. They'll hop down and right in front of Kyle Schmitz. They'll hop down to the bottom. They'll try and control the bottom of the racetrack, as up top it's Brandon Cuxhausen and Scott Kerber now leading the field. The top 3 on the inside lane clear. We'll see if that outside lane gets a little bit more movement. Scott Kerber going to try and shove the back bumper of Brandon Cuxhausen a little bit forward. We'll see, they're not getting too aggressive with the side draft currently this early. No need to be here on lap 6 this early in the race, but you want to try and stay a little bit farther up there, so maybe they might get a little bit more aggressive, especially once you get late in this race. Those drivers on the outside lane, they're going to be very aggressive. We'll try to pin that inside down as much as possible, try to pull that inside lane back with the side draft. Right now, just trying to stay a little bit relaxed right now, no one really getting too aggressive.
Down the back show, and these drivers kind of just taking it easy, not too aggressive side drafting right now. No one really trying to get up front too quickly. They kind of know how long this race will be. 94 laps, about half length of the real life NASCAR race here. So they know it's going to be a long race, and it's going to come down to really pit strategy and positioning at the end of this one. So we'll see how it plays out here, but Cody Dorsey currently leads over Brandon Newton.
As you mentioned, track position importance here with pit stops, especially, as that's also kind of what I forgot to mention here in qualifying is qualifying. A that these drivers in qualifying, getting up front, getting that track position, if you can manage up front, you're in a much better positioning in up front. You don't have to try and worry about getting on the race too hard. You make it take it a little bit more passive on pit road, because you don't have to, you're already leading. You don't have to make time up already. Say if you're strung out a little bit farther at the last car in the pack at the very back.
Yeah.
So you got to try and make that up a little bit on the braking zone, or you're going to get kind of stretched out off of pit road. So you got to be careful when you do that. But track position definitely a big importance for that. So Smith's driver is in a good spot. But here comes the outside lane once again. Brandon Costhausen being pushed by Scott Kerberg here off of turn number 4 down into the trial. Costhausen, he will clear down in front of Cody Dorsey, and Scott Kerberg now leads the outside lane. He's immediate, and Mike Marshall pushing him behind. We'll see if Scott Kerberg can maybe get up to the race lead. Off of turn number 2 now, Scott Kerberg with a good run, getting shoved by Mike Marshall. A little bit outside lane movement. They're going to go alongside Brandon Costhausen. I'm going to try and side draft the back just a little bit, try to get that outside lane clear. Scott Kerber, can he hold on? Can he do it? Does he have enough of the help? He's going to try and stay alongside here. Lap number 10 this time by is Brandon Costhausen going to be inside. But side by side, still not enough to clear yet for that outside lane. As that suddenly starting to lose a little bit of steam, but they're starting to side draft a little bit. Scott Kerber wants to try and get this race lead, wants to try and clear for the race lead and get down to the bottom of the racetrack. And try and put himself in a good spot on the inside lane. He's getting good help here from Mike Marshall. As down into turn number 3, Scott Kerber in the 14 machine, he will clear. And he will take the race lead away here at Talladega.
As he leads the pack here, coming to the tribal, and so lead this lap this time by. Looks like drivers can just kind of swap in spots here on the outside, just kind of a mix of drivers. I think no one's, like I said, being too aggressive here early out in this one. But it looks like the outside forming up a lot more cars, and I think 7 cars up top now. So here comes
Costhausen jumps into the top lane.
So clear for the race lead. Will he take it? Most likely he will. There's a huge run behind him. 3-car tandem. I think that's led by Jason Bombs on the top side.
A little bit, a pretty big gap to Mike Marshall. To separate about a little bit of Mike Marshall's going to start to fall back here, but Brandon Costhausen, he will take the race lead. Leaves Scott Kerber there into second. It's now being pushed by Cody Dorsey, and then the inside lane starting to get a much bigger advantage over the top lane right now. So looks like the inside lane starting to settle in a little bit here, as the outside's gonna have to take a little bit of time to kind of rebuild to the top lane right now. Outside lane falling all the way back, almost about 8th or 9th right now, as they fall side by side with Cole Lewis, almost back to Stephen Horner. Only 3-4 drivers in the top lane. They are pretty tightly packed a little bit together, so they haven't really been able to build that run yet. Especially with minimal cars like that 3 or 4, you gotta really try and get aggressive on the side draft on the inside lane right now, which they seem to be doing a little bit. As now Cole Lewis will hop up and try and get that outside lane moving a little bit more here. Now, as we mentioned, that outside lane starting to move. We see Scott Kerber in the inside lane there, sitting in feed number 2 currently in that 14 machine, running a Parkinson disease scheme here tonight at Talladega, and racing in front of his mother here tonight. His mother just recently had passed away this past week, unfortunately, and tonight it's kind of the remembrance race for his mother here on lap number 14. So, going up here on lap number 14, we're going to have a moment of silence for Scott Kerber's mother here tonight. He's racing tonight. It'll be great factor if he can win here tonight. We saw that in the NR Cup Series. You saw Nathan Lamont win his remembrance of his grandmother a few months ago. And it would be awesome if Scott Kerber can do that here tonight. He'll jump into the top lane. He'll start lap number 14. Now we're going upside lanes. And a moment of silence of Scott Kerber's mother as it's just kind of can't even write it any better. Scott Kerber leading that lap, the number 14, doing a great job out in front currently in that 14 machine as he's getting pushed by Cody Dorsey. And here goes Randy Coxhausen with the outside run as the outside lane is starting to push a little bit further up now as Cole Lewis, Mikey Marshall pushing that 7 machine of Randy Coxhausen in the race lead as Randy Coxhausen got passed by Scott Kerber and Cody Dorsey there one lap ago. Yeah, Coxhausen trying to take that race lead back away, but Scott Kerber holding the lead by himself, currently clear both lanes. We'll see if he jumps up to the top lane, try to block that outside lane a little bit. Probably not going to do that this early here and this early in the race, but only now. We're here in complete lap number 15. It'll be 10 laps to go until we see our first round of pit stop. So this driver is going to start fighting for a little bit more track position as you run closer to that first round of stops here tonight.
Yeah, we'll see what these drivers try to position themselves here right now currently. This is really the point where you want to position yourself before these pit stops. Make sure you're with your teammates, make sure you're with a good buddy, maybe your drafting partner before you make your way to down pit lane, because the most important thing here in Super Speedway racing is those pit stops and your drafting buddy.
As I mentioned earlier, we could see a couple of teammates, so they can get together, pit, maybe 4 or 5 cars pit separately. If they get a good enough pit stop and they draft well enough, they can maybe break away from the rest of the main pack. So that could be huge for some of those drivers. But we'll see how that works out. But the outside lane is eventually that pit strategy that's just completely diminished. And now the inside lane pretty much all by themselves. Now Scott Kerber leads the field. About 4 or 5, maybe about 7 cars. Single file as Calvin Smith decides to hop from Brady Coxhausen as Jason Bobs that works his inside lane as they were clear, but this outside lane limited back to about 4 or 5 drivers now. As it linked up a little bit, but just can't have that run just yet. But Joshua Schmitz, though, he has got a pretty good run on the bottom. He'll hop up in front of Calvin Smith and they'll give that outside lane a little bit more momentum. They're going to try and drive back up to the front, but so far the inside lane looking strong as 6 clear. But Scott Kerber, the race leader, currently in that 14 machine.
As here they come off of turn number 4. Inside lane forming up big time here. Only 5 cars up top. They're actually 3 wide, a little bit there. They're kind of just unorganized on the top side. I think you drivers kind of just gotta realize that you gotta get single file here and just wait for those pit stops. See where you shake it out.
And so over the outside lane, start to struggle a little bit. It seems like some drivers being a little bit. Some drivers want to stay at the bottom, trying to get, just trying to settle in because they don't. It is a little risk, especially when you're on the top lane. You gotta maybe, especially like if you're like Jason Bombs, now lean to the top lane. or if you like Brandon touchdowns and you're leading the whole time, you have to pit maybe a lap early in this up the field. And you're almost stuck on the top lane, you can't find a way down on the bottom, you really gotta drop all the way back, maybe risk losing the draft to try and get in lane. You have to try and force in lane, so it's a little bit risky, especially once we get to low fuel. Some of these drivers put on the top lane, a little bit fuel to push that outside lane and try and get a better position and get up to the race lead before they have to come down pit road. And it looks like it's working well for Jason Bottoms. He's got a really good run here from Joshua Schmitz and the 3 of Calvin Smith. Alongside that inside lane, the 28 of Brandon Newton. Newton still holds clear for now, but Kyle Schmitz will stay alongside. The top 3 on the outside lane is breaking away a little bit from the rest, and that might cause them a little bit of trouble, and it looks like they're going to start to fall back just a tad bit here.
Yeah, pit stops are looming large here in the next 5 laps or so. Scott Kerber, he's been out front for these past couple laps, so we'll see if he gets to pit maybe a lap earlier than most of the field, or if anyone else will maybe pit a little bit earlier as well.
See if anyone, any teams can maybe split themselves off, maybe pit together, but I'm not seeing a whole lot of teams with no teams more than 3 drivers. So it's redacted motorsports, Calvin Smith, Jason Thomas, Rusty Rafferty, Blind Squirrels with Scott Kerber, Stephen Horner, against Joshua Kyle Spare Parts, and Synergy Racing Group of Cole Lewis, Dan Stock, Aaron, Robert Whibble. So only 3 drivers. In a team, it looks like right now. So maybe some of those teams can work together just a little bit here for these pit stops. They can maybe try to break away for the rest of the field. We'll see if anybody else maybe works together, any other friends within the pack. You can find your buddy maybe trying to break away, but we'll see if everyone separates out here on pit stops. But these pit stops can mean a lot. One slip up speeding on pit road, easily lose your draft. You can easily lose multiple laps over the course of a run, and it could be very, very detrimental here on pit road. It looks a little bit easier. It's easier to try and you get a wide flat apron and get it slowed down, get the car woed down. You do have to get it woed down from 190 miles per hour down to 55 in the span of about 400 feet. So it is definitely it's still very tough to get on and off pit road here. But we'll see, especially with a bunch of an entire other pack of cars. We'll see who can master it tonight and maybe try and put themselves up front after good pit stops. So you don't want to make any mistakes. But also pit stops can be a very big factor. You can see a pit road mistake getting on the pit road because you see an incident. But you could also just separate the pack out naturally if a couple of drivers get a little bit slower, a couple of gaps open off pit exit. That could be big as well, and that could open up maybe 3 or 4 packs here.
As you see here, most of the field single filing out, so I think these drivers know they're coming down pit lane. It's everyone down on the bottom of the racetrack here off of turn number 2.
Off turn number 2, yes, single file, so everyone's getting ready here for pit stops as we're looking at roughly about 25 laps of fuel. We'll see if anyone drives it down here, coming to complete lap number 23. This driver's looking to try and make it a 3-stop race. See if those drivers can do it. And they can probably go about 22 and a half. This way you want to put your target number to make it on a 3-stop. Any earlier, you're going to have to make it a 4th stop, which it looks like everyone will be able to make it. But so far, everyone's staying out on the racetrack here. Scott Kerber, Cody Dorsey, Brandon Newton, Joshua Schmitz, Kyle Schmitz, our top 5 before our first round of stops here. Complete lap number 24. Seeing our first pit stops here, probably expecting him here in about a lap or 2 now, here on lap number 25. He's come off turn 4. Does anyone dive it in? It will be Scott Kerber drives it in pretty early. You didn't have to cut down that early, but he gets down. He'll slow down the racetrack, make sure he very, very passive into pit road there for Scott Kerber. Does not want to make a mistake. It's okay though, as he'll lose a little bit of position, a little bit of time, but it looks like he'll stay mostly
yeah,
in
he
the
should
back
be
here.
in the pack here as well. So first group coming down pit lane. So I assume the second group will come down this time by as well.
So pretty much even split throughout the field. About 8. We'll have about 8 and 8. Well, it looks like 7 and 9, as we do have Rusty Rafferty lap down. And lost the
Yeah,
track a little bit
he
early.
started
He
on
did
the
start one
pits
lap down.
there actually, so I'm not sure if that was a penalty from a previous week or something, but he did start from pit lane. First group of drivers now gone away, but Cody Dorsey, big lead. The top three not really too close together, but behind Dakota Bly, very bunched up, so they should be able to catch up to Jason Bottoms and Cody Dorsey ahead. As the rest of the group coming out pit lane, and looks like no penalties as well for any of them.
Yeah, everyone on pit road, perfect. Oh, Robert Whipple though actually speeding on pit road locked it up.
Late,
He'll be
penalty.
blocked for speeding there. So yeah, so it looks like but the issue, my worry there, it looks once that first pack pit, that second pack that we just saw come down pit road got separated out, and that cost him a little bit of time there. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll see, but interesting note, Stephen Horner. Stephen Horner, he had a few extra laps of fuel, and he is out by himself, and that's not what you want to be there. So Stephen Horner not looking good here. He's all by himself. Here comes the rest of the field emerging back together. It looks like Joshua Schmitz will be the leader of that here off the turn number into the trial. So they actually got even that second pack, they were a little bit better. They were a little bit more aggressive on pit entry, made that time up. They actually escaped away a little bit. Cody Dorsey now leads the field with Joshua Schmitz and Dan Barone and Kyle Schmitz behind, but the rest of the field little bit separated from that pack, but they are much more cars. There's double file, but they're still in that drafting range of the pack ahead. And they will no doubt they'll catch back up, merge back together here in just a lap or two, maybe half a lap as Jason Bottoms and Dakota Bly. They will clear down to the bottom as they'll single file out and get caught up to the back bumper of Kyle Schmitz. The rest of the field, no one really gets separating out there. No one got separated out there that time. Mike D. Marshall, though, he has got separated. Paul Lewis, Rusty Rafferty, they did as well. So a couple drivers getting shuffled out, and Stephen Horner, interesting. He had a lot of extra fuel there, but not really good when you have no one else can do it with you, and he's going to lose the pack by a long shot as staying out by yourself easily, multiple seconds slower. Unfortunately, Stephen Horner being a little bit late there after that first round of stops. He's going to need a lot of help here later in this one.
As they're all grouped back up together, a few drivers obviously falling off the main pack here, but mostly all grouped up together, I believe. Well, Lewis is the first one really out of the pack. He's about 9 seconds back. It's a 12 car back here up front. Really? As how aggressive will these drivers be with their second green flag run or second pit run here? Looks like they're trying to get up to the front. One driver up top. It's a brand new one. That 28 machine has Jason Bottoms on the inside. Can Newton clear up top? He has a big push, but not enough though down the back straightaway. Bottoms will stay ahead on the bottom of the racetrack.
Jason Bottoms takes the race lead away on the inside. He's got Dakota Bly pushing him behind. It is Cody Dorsey leading the inside. As Dakota Bly and Cody Dorsey now second and third, as we saw them 2 weeks ago at Legacy Atlanta have one of the greatest fuel mileage races of all time. And we'll see if they can pull that back tonight. Maybe run it back here tonight. I don't think fuel mileage is going to be a big issue here. Here tonight, as it'll be pretty much an easy 3-stop. We'll see if he can get a yellow, maybe with about 28 to go. Maybe that might make it a little bit interesting there. I have to save a lot more fuel, but We'll see, but Stephen Horner was able to do it, but unfortunately he was stayed by himself. Now, if that was the last, if this race was only 27 laps, Stephen Horner would have been a really good spot there, but also probably everyone else would have really saved hard to try and make it to 27, lap 28. So we'll see if caution comes out, Stephen Horner may jump back up through the field, but a couple of drivers, Rusty Rafferty, Robert Whipple got spit road speeding penalty, Mike D. Marshall, Stephen Horner, Cole Lewis all lost the draft. So we have 5 drivers losing the draft there on their second practice, all of their second pack after that first round of stops.
Chase Rollins continues the leads here. We saw Scott Kerberg heal out a little bit. He had to pit a little earlier, maybe in the second pack, but looks like it worked out well for him here. But we'll see how it works out here for Jason Bombs, and maybe he'll drop back, maybe save some fuel. It's really it's only about a lap or 2 at most that really you will get affected by. But we'll see if Jason Bombs just is content to stand out front and burn some more fuel compared to the rest of the field.
Yeah, and especially, I think he'll be alright if it's only a lap or 2 shorter. He can kind of communicate that with the rest of the pack. He'll definitely, no doubt, just say he's going to be pitting. No doubt, at least 4 or 5 other drivers will definitely come down with him, especially into this race. He'll definitely have some teammates to work with him as well. He's got Jason Bada, he's got Dakota Bly, and Cody Dorsey right behind him. They've been working well together. Here in the second pack, no, they probably would come down with them as well. He had to go a lap or 2 shorter. On this run, as everyone was able to make it easily laps 55.26, so it's not going to be any stretch to making it an extra stop, so they'll be able to make it easily on 2 more stops here in this race. I do mention that he is leading and he is burning a little bit more fuel, but that maybe could, it could make it a little bit longer final pit stop, which that could maybe cost you a little bit of time on pit road and maybe cause you a little loss of track position if you have to take a little bit extra fuel. But that's the only worry with that really, but you just be really good on pit road, should be able to counteract that pretty well. It looks like Chase Photos did want to try and back out as he jumped to the top lane. He's trying to skip behind into Derek Riley, but Derek Riley trying to get moving a little bit forward. But he does jump back a little bit farther here.
Yeah, I would say probably the middle of the pack is probably the best where he's at. I mean, usually I prefer probably being the bottom of the pack, just shortest way around the racetrack, especially when you're just riding around. I just don't really care to be on the middle, top side of the racetrack. But that's just kind of personal preference at least, and we haven't halfway done yet with this race as well, so we got a long way to go here tonight. 2 more pit stops at least if we go green, maybe even 3 if we kind of time it right, but it would just be 2 though, but you never know. People might top it off on fuel as well for these green white checkers if we have any.
But Jason Bones will slot in line behind Brandon Newton on the inside, and he will be a little bit more comfortable in the middle of the pack. Just to save a little bit of fuel, but I mean, he was doing good out in front. Probably personally where I would have been. I mean, didn't have to worry about making an extra stop there. So I think I probably would have tried to stay over to the race lead. Should only use any lap, well, do a little bit extra laps, but just be a little bit comfortable. You're staying up in front of the wreck. Instead of being in the middle of the pack where it could happen. So, see how that works out for Chase Bombs, but I mean, it worked well after the first pit stop. He was able to work his way up to the race seat, so definitely feels confident enough to work his way back up front when he needs to.
Yeah, definitely, as most of the field has seemed to fall back out once more. Kind of see comers and goers. That's really what it's been so far tonight, just comers and goers in the top lane and the bottom lane. No one's really been too consistent out in front. You know, we've seen a couple of drivers lead, 5 to 10 laps here and there throughout this race, so a lot of different leaders as well, but also the playoff picture. look at these points quickly. Looks like the top 7 locked in here. Dan Barone lock himself in here with a good finish. 26 points ahead of the cutoff line. Right now he's running pretty good. In that 9th place spot, he should be okay there. Got Jason Bombs as well, trying to make playoffs here. Currently 24 points ahead of the cutoff line. And Derek Riley only 11 points ahead of the cutoff line. And he is ahead of Brandon Cuxhausen. But looks like Cuxhausen in 11th place, still in the main pack. So he's got to hope for Derek Riley to have a bad night. And Derek Riley in 5th. So still a long way to go here tonight as well. So also, if one of those drivers wins, they have a chance as well yet. Two drivers that need the win here tonight make themselves into the playoffs. Brandon Newman being one of them. Scott Kerberg being one of them as well. Those are the main 2 that are in the race, I believe I see. And also Marshall as well. Mike Marshall got to win, then get in as well. So there's really the 3 drivers I can see here that are in the race that need to have a win. Have no chance of pointing themselves into the playoffs. They want to have a chance to fight for that championship here these next few weeks.
I'll see that it's still a while to go here, but a couple of drivers trying to work their way up through the field. See how that plays out, but seeing the winners so far this season, Kyle Schmitz, Cody Dorsey, Dorian Hamilton, Joshua Schmitz, Calvin Smith, Dakota Bly, and Rusty Rafferty. Those drivers already locked into the playoffs. And into tonight is Dan Barone, Jason Bombs, Derek Riley. Already positive points in tonight. Brady Cuxhausen minus 11 out, so we'll see if he can work his way in. Win his way in here tonight. Trey Cox isn't really the only one you can probably put in tonight. Everyone else would have. We'll see Jason Bob, Dan Barone, Derek Riley. That could be a worry for them. They do have, I mean, at worst, 2 of them will only points in, but 11 points, especially for Derek Riley, that could get a little bit worrying here, especially if you're up front. One push going wrong can push you all the way to the back of the field very quickly. So gotta be careful. You don't want to end up getting yourself wrecked here tonight. I think everyone else will be fine. Dan Barone, Jason Mott, they'll be okay as they have a 26 point buffer over the cut line, and they only do have 17 drivers here in this race tonight. So as long as they get the top 10 finish, they'll be pretty much good to go. Very soon for the playoffs starting next week at North Wilkesboro. So that'll definitely be a fun watch next week. But first, we got to determine our playoff field here tonight. It looks like single file through most of the field, but then back to the pack. A little bit feisty here. It's like side by side. The outside lane is actually starting to fall back now as outside lane will clear the bottom as they go back to single file.
Right now, like you mentioned, most of the field single file, but here comes the outside line, trying to charge back up there. These drivers will have to pit here next 8 laps or so, 7-8 laps. But we'll see if this outside lane tries to make their way up to field. Try to gain a little bit more track position here before these pit stops, second round of pit stops here, a few laps time.
A little bit toward the back of the pack, but now we're starting to see some of these drivers in the top lane trying to get working their way forward a little bit. Yeah, 3 wide. They're trying to work their way forward, trying to get some better track position You saw a couple of them. They lost the draft after pit road. They don't want to be some of the drivers, especially here coming to the penultimate pit stop. Just getting into this race, getting closer to the end of this race. We're getting close to the halfway here, so these drivers have to pit just pretty much right around the halfway mark. It's pretty much for every quarter of the race.
So still throughout action. Here's Jason Bottoms in the middle of that one. Here comes Cody Dorsey on the top side. Actually, it's Kyle Schmitz on the top side. Trying to make something happen. Big bump drafts here. He's getting pushed by Joshua Schmitz behind him as well. Kind of separated there on the top side, but they do gain some spots. Will they slot in line on the inside if they can? Doesn't look like they have any room to do so. So kind of just stuck up there here in these next few laps. As a big wiggle, there's contact more. Car on the outside wall as these drivers coming down pit lane, some contact. And it looks like they were, but then they back up big time.
That's going to separate the pack there. Big mistake. Almost Joshua Schmitz got a little bit of contact. Oh, Brandon Cuxhausen, and that's going to shake up the back. If that's something you're worried about, being towards the back of the back, you lose the draft just like that.
Oh,
everyone kept it straight, and we stayed green.
Looks like
boy, Brandon Cuxhausen just ripped it up in the middle
clipped the apron, I think, maybe. Clipped that yellow line and left the racetrack. Thought for a second they were going to pit because how slow they were. Looks like just a big mistake as that's allowed the top 6 to pull away about 3.5 seconds. And some of those drivers got some a little aero damage as well. Shouldn't affect them too much, I would assume, but you never know with these next gen cars.
We'll see how that's separated the main pack. That separated the top 6 from the rest of the field by about 4 seconds. That lead is led by Dan Barone and Jason Bottoms, so that's going to cause a really big shakeup. This top 6 looking very strong now. For the second pit stop here, see if maybe a couple of drivers for that lead pack maybe make a big mistake on pit road. A couple of drivers in the second pack, if they get a really good stop, they can maybe bridge kind of a bridge for each other into the packs and maybe allow them to mix back together. We'll see here. 4 seconds. They got to get working strong and pushing as straight as possible, as best as possible here in this in the second pack to get moving forward. The gap's that time by for the race lead to 7th place there, 4.7 seconds. So that second pack really struggling here, trying to get something moving. As they are not pushing well together, especially with the second pack. You gotta try and have your first 3 cars pushing tightly packed together. You gotta have the second driver on the back bumper. You have to have the third driver pushing and try and keep the second place car in line, pushing, kind of keep him in that bubble of the first driver. You do hit the second place driver will have to lay off just a little bit to get a little bit of fuel, but especially if you don't have that third place driver, third place car in the line, pushing up to the second place driver and trying to push him closer to lead, you're just going to be stuck in that bubble and not able to break that bubble to push that outside leading forward. So it just makes it even worse. You gotta have that third place car, try to keep it close enough to that bubble and push them through that bubble, and allow that outside lane, allow that lane to move. But they're just not doing that very well together. They are really separated. So a couple of drivers are really damaged after that scuffle there in turn 3, and it seems like the back of the pack of that second pack there, so they just can't keep up with the top 3, and they've just really separated. And that's just causing them lots and lots of time loss. Just causing a bunch of time, but actually up front, it looks like Kyle Schmitz has lost the main pack because he's got separated now. So that's also going to be a big factor.
Yeah, I don't know. It's right before pit stops here. If he can be good under brakes, braking here, but I don't know, he's still losing some time. He's kind of just staying with them, just barely. We'll see. Well, he's way up top. Not even in the draft, it looks like, for a second there. Lost him about 2/10 there off of turn number 2.
Because he kind of did that when he lost the trap, so I wonder if maybe he might be having a mechanical issue with the screen, or maybe this wheel that's maybe might be causing him that. But we'll see if Kyle Schmitz can maybe tag back along.
Looks like he is. Good run.
Wow, got really lucky there to drag that back.
Yeah, because usually these next-gen cars, once you about happens in the back, it's pretty much game over for the most part.
We're lap 49, so we're looking probably about 3 more laps at most for these drivers to come down pit road. So we're now past the halfway point in this one. As here comes the main pack right now, the lead pack all down pit road together. One driver really overdriving it. 27 Dan Stockero, big luck up, actually hit the inside wall to slow down. It looks like it could hurt that right front, but I think he did get down at pit road. He's got to slow down, but he's got a little bit of left front damage to fix there.
We're looking at replay right now here. So just, yeah, smack the inside wall pretty hard. Probably have to take a faster beer there.
He does there. Dakota Bly a little bit overshoot of the stop. Brandon Cuxhausen also takes his fast repair. A few drivers taking their fast repair there. But that could shake up that second pack there, as a few drivers making crucial pit road mistakes. That could allow that second pack to maybe close just a little bit, but now they'll take the race lead. Actually, the second pack came with them.
Yeah, and they're not too far behind as well. Yeah, they're not too far behind off of pit lane, so very good stop for that second pack, it looks like. They're very spread out.
Actually, Cody Dorsey had a really good stop. He got way out in front of the rest. Same with Derek Riley. He got way out in front of the rest of the pack, and the rest of the lead pack didn't have a good pit stop. But it looks like Dan Barone and Scott Kerber, Brandon Cuxhausen, they might be able to jump across. Same with Jason Bottoms. It looks like they might be able to jump across a little bit, as they're gonna have a little bit more drivers packed up closer together compared to the race leaders. Is the leaders of this lead pack, they're much separated. As Cody Dorsey, he's pretty much a sitting duck right now, as he had such a good pit stop. He got way out in front. Yeah, so right now, it looks like so far it is Cody Dorsey, our sole leader out of the drivers you pitted, and it's a pack of 3 between Derek Riley, Dakota Bly, and Dan Stockeros. They are chasing down Cody Dorsey, as they will catch him, and they will easily go to the outside. Dakota Bly actually stays, so that could slow them up a little bit. They have a second pack, three cars, Brandon Newton, Kyle Schmitz, and Jason Bottoms. And then a little bit farther back, you have another pack of 3 cars of Brandon Cuxhausen, Brandon Newton, and Scott Kerber. And then you have Joshua Schmitz, Calvin Smith, pretty much by themselves, and then so they'll lose the draft. So it looks like at most we're going to have about a 9-car pack if all these packs merge together. But I think that last pack of 3, Cuxhausen, the Barone, and Scott Kerber, I don't think they're going to be able to bridge that gap. As now the second pack, Newton, Schmitz, and Bottoms will tag along to the top 4, and they will make a pack of 7. So Jason Bottoms being able to make the jump there from the second pack. Looks like he's losing a little bit of time though. Oh, the pack a little bit, but he's in that draft, so hopefully he'll drive back up a little bit. Now the second pack of 3 cars now, they're really hoping they check up a little bit on that lead pack to try and drive them back up there. Oh, we have a caution!
Wow.
First caution of the night.
It's Rusty Rafferty.
Rusty Rafferty stopped on the apron, turn 1.
Maybe coming off of pit lane, got a little wheel spin there possibly. We'll take a quick look.
No, it's not what happened there.
Huh.
Just taking a that triggered the caution. It wasn't on the track.
So through the travel, I think he just went through the maybe technical issues.
Wheel disconnected.
Yeah, wheels. Yeah, this looks what it looks like. But he wasn't on the racetrack. No one passed him yet, and there it is. Yeah, so most likely that was what the cause of the caution was. Yeah, pace car lights are on. So, as wheel disconnecting.
But interesting note though, Stephen Horner, he stretched it much farther.
Yeah, he's the race leader.
In the first and second pit stops, second runs, and now he has the lead. That's never seen an overcut work like that on the super speedway. But Stephen Horner able to make it happen somehow. Got very lucky with the caution there. Actually, he's out of fuel. He's trying to lip it back around right now.
Yeah, some good and bad things about that caution for him. So he might get.
Oh no, he's waiting for the pace. He's waiting for the pace car here. But he's got to get down pit road.
He might be. He's obviously gonna be low on fuel. He's on lap 0.6. There goes the pace car. Will he be able to gas it up? Looks not really. I think he might be out. I think kind of rolling now. I think he might be sputtering. Very slow compared to the rest of the drivers behind him.
Yeah, they're really waiting for the pace car there, but it looks like he's going to make it down pit road. But it looks like the fuel will split, so he won't be our race leader. But
yeah, but
he does have a little bit extra fuel.
It really won't matter though at the end of this one, because we'll probably top it off because we're coming to the round. About 40 laps to go, so at least one more pit stop still guaranteed.
Some of these drivers topping it off though, that could allow them to go a little bit longer if they want to pit a little bit separately. There's this pack of 4 currently right now. They've got 4 going to be able to have to pit a little bit, a few laps later. That could make a problem. We're currently under the caution here, lap number 54 here at Talladega on the Burlington Cafe 250. It's wrapping up our regular season here on the Contender series. We'll decide our field of 10 for the playoffs. Get our field of 10 and we'll make our drive through our 2 rounds of playoffs. As we'll have the round of 10, which will be three races with North Wilkesboro Canadian Tire in Chicagoland. We'll go to the Championship 5 for Daytona, Daytona, Las Vegas, and Auto Club. So we saw this last season. Talladega was in the Championship 5. We saw that could be a make or break race, and we'll have Daytona to open it up next in a couple of weeks. So that could be a big factor, and this could be good practice for Daytona coming up in a couple of weeks. About 5 weeks time, as they do have an off week for the real life NASCAR Cup Series duels on February 12th. So we do have an off week after Canadian Tire in that second round of round number 1 of the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm sure no one's going to the duels that night of anyone I know.
Same thing, drivers. Maybe we'll see any drivers at the real life duel race. I know I will be there. I know I will be there, but we'll hope to have a fun time down in Daytona
Yeah.
coming up in a couple weeks. So getting ready to start the new NASCAR season.
Yeah, I'm sure pretty much all these drivers, I mean, most I would say probably that race NASCAR and I racing watch NASCAR in real life as well, so everyone's excited for the duel starting. Always kind of, you know, Clash, you know, it's its own thing, but I think the duels really start the NASCAR season, at least for me. But it'd be a fun one there in Daytona. Obviously Talladega, pretty much its brother, I guess, don't call it that, but very similar racing here.
The Clash coming out next week, so we're just about a week and a half away. We do have the Rolex 24 as the real life drivers go twice 1 o'clock coming up this weekend. So we'll see how that goes this weekend. We'll be excited for the Clash next week. But these drivers, they got a little bit more time before we get to there, as we'll just restart. We're just a little bit past halfway here from Talladega for the regular season finale. We'll take a green. We'll go back green to Derek Riley with a great launch here from the inside lane. He's got Dakota Bly with a good gap behind him the second, and Cody Dorsey will force his way in there to shut the door on Kyle Schmitz, and he'll slide in the third. Everyone looks like they're just trying to slide to the bottom here early on in this restart.
Yeah, most of these drivers just being single file quickly here, the outside line. See, not the quickest on the outside line, not the quickest here on these restarts. Guys are all trying to get up to speed, so the outside line, obviously the first way around the racetrack, you want to get as the inside as possible as the drivers now up to speed here down the back straightaway. See some drivers make some moves to the outside. Ooh, one driver on the inside, that's on the apron. That's brand new, it looks like. One driver that's outside looking in. He goes all the way back and loses the main pack big time there. Through turn 3 and 4. Not sure if he maybe got some contact or made a mistake there. Like he was on the apron big time with a save from him.
Yeah, ran really low. On the turn into turn number 3
got some
there.
contact early, but that's weird. That's.
And he got on the halfway on the banking. I mean, that upset the race car there. That's what happened there. A little bit too low, and that's going to cost him the draft. So he's going to have to hope for a yellow.
As again, he's way on the inside. So he might be having some technical issues there. Because way on the inside down the back straightaway, almost clipped the inside wall. So I'm not sure if having some wheel issues like Rusty Rafty had earlier, obviously his wheel disconnecting, you know, happens to the best of us, but yeah, side by side in the back there. Getting led by Jason Bond on the top side.
And so far, single file through a good chunk of this field right now, but the outside lane is starting to work a little bit as Rick Costello. He's been wanting to work this outside lane tonight, trying to get the outside lane moving. He just hasn't had the help to do it. There's a little bit of help in Jason Bottoms right now. They're a little bit farther back as the 53 of Robert Whipple to the inside. Just trying to get that lane moving.
Back out front, Derek Riley currently leads. He's currently 10th on the playoff bubble there. Last driver in, this win would basically secure himself a spot into the round of 10. With his closest competition being Ray Newton, who had that, obviously that crazy incident there and is all the way back in the 15th place. He'll have to pretty much win, and then for him, he's too far behind. Obviously Brandon Cuxhausen, who is currently in 14th place in the end of this lap, or end of the tail, I guess, of this pack, I should say. Still a chance for him maybe to come back here, but right now currently Derek Riley in a great spot here to punch his ticket into the playoffs.
Looking strong right now out in front. Derek Raleigh entering tonight at plus 11 on the cut line, sitting on the cut line in 10th. So that win will definitely be a great way to lock himself in, not have to worry about points. The go by behind him and Cody Dorsey, so they're working strong for Kyle Schmitz. No one really making any moves right now. Everyone's just taking single file. Just trying to relax here as we try to click some laps off here as we get later into this race.
Yeah, there's still one more pit stop left. We're coming down to the final third of this race here. 34 laps to go. Pretty much coming to 33 this time by. Seen a lot of different leaders so far tonight, and no one's really been dominating tonight's race. Obviously, it's typical for street sweepers like this, but we'll see how these final rounds of pit stops take place and who will get out in front and who, anyone will split up into two packs like we saw earlier tonight. Or we'll just kind of stay in one big pack, as actually it's like a couple drivers further on back kind of fell back. Sid Milner and Brandon Guxhausen. Now it's only 11 car pack out in front. Currently just Mom's in the tail end of that one, but currently still in the playoffs in the round of 10.
So far, lap number 63, got a couple of drivers off the back. Drivers separating, the pit road window opens at about 8 laps here. You see these drivers. The drivers pit really early. We did see maybe 4 or 5 drivers, they did stay out, so they have a little bit of, maybe about 5 laps less fuel than the rest of the field. So we'll see how that strategy will shake up. See if they can maybe break away from the rest of the field and see how this final pit stops, how they will shake up the rest. If they maybe split the pack, maybe could get a really small pack to race in the end. We have gotten some news here from Rusty Rafferty. So this, that yellow that we had with Rusty Rafferty, thought his wheel disconnect. Sorry, it had looks like a PC issues. He dropped to 2 FPS, so 2 frames per second. So pretty much end of the racing a slideshow, and that's he ended up going through the grass and ended up causing the incident there as hardware as we kind of correctly guessed he did have hardware problems there. So unfortunately, Rusty Rafferty take him out of this race tonight, and it was our one caution. So far here in this one on lap number 65 so far. We're working our way closer to that final pit stop of this race. As we restarted with about 40 laps to go, so these drivers will have about a 10-lap window when pit window is opening. So these drivers have to pit, and then they also pit. So the pit window will open here about 4 laps, and they can go everyone else can go about 10 more laps after that at the longest. And we'll see how that plays out here, but getting closer to the end of this one. Single file through the pack. Supposedly currently led by Derek Riley. Dakota Bly in second, Cody Dorsey third, Kyle Schmitz in fourth. Is Dan Barone in fifth, Joshua Schmitz, Cole Lewis, Robert Ribble, Calvin Smith, Jason Bowden, Scott Kerber rounds at the top 10, and it's Mike D. Marshall in 11th. That is the main pack on the racetrack currently. And then Stephen Horner and Brandon Cuxhausen lost the draft. They're 12th and 13th, and Stan Stockera also losing the draft. Ranks 14th by himself, and then it's Brandon Newton in 15th all by himself. He's actually about to go a lap down from the rest, and it's Robert Whipple still running one lap down, and then Rusty Rafferty out of the race here tonight. So Robert Whipple is in the lead pack, just one lap down currently, so he's looking for yellow to get his lap back here.
So we'll get out of the way there in the front stroke, or back stroke, excuse me, brand new. Doesn't really shake up these drivers too much, but about 3 laps from now, these drivers will be able to come off pit lane if they want to, but I assume these drivers probably gonna stay out as long as they can and go about 10 more laps here. So round with 18 laps to go, 17, 18 laps to go, I'll expect these pit stops to happen here. Also, you'll be able to take a little bit less fuel as well if you pit a little later.
Yeah, we'll see, that could maybe be a little bit of an advantage for some of these drivers later. Some of these drivers you pitted later, but we'll see at the second the secondary back. You have about 5 drivers you have to pit earlier than the rest of the field, as they stayed out at the last caution. At the caution. We'll see if they can pit together, work well together. They're able to separate away from the lead pack. We saw after the second round of pit stops, the pack really separated out. So we can see how that plays out. But now we're in that pit window as we now cross the 25 laps to go this time by. So I think we're in that pit window now. Ideally, you probably want to go at least till about 22 to go to maybe allow yourself a little bit extra fuel for doing check. The outside lane's starting to make a little bit of moves now. Now Scott Kerber helped from Mike Marshall in the top lane. Oh, a little bit of wiggle there. That's actually going to shake them up, and now they're going to be 3 wide. And Kyle Schmitz just went up the top, trying to keep the outside lane moving. Now they're both going to fall back really far as Kyle Schmitz will slot back in line. Scott Kerber will have a slot to the back of that tail end. Slot to the tail end of the elite outside. Actually, he'll slot right behind Mike Marshall. Brandon Newton will stay behind him. Brandon Newton 1 lap down now as he's tagged along to the main pack. Before we get to our final round of pit stops here, we just worked coming to 23 laps to go. Gotta take this opportunity for Dura. Alright, should never run as down pit road, these drivers as Derek Riley, Dakota Bly, Cody Dorsey, Jason Bottoms, Calvin Smith, they will dive down pit road for their final pit stop just as the window opens. So this could be a little bit tight if we do get a green white checkered. But these drivers, everyone should be good to go if we go green to the end here. But that looks like, so the pack of 5 there, we'll see if they can split away for the lane pack, as it looks like Dan Barone over the radio, he is saying he will be coming down pit road this time by. So it looks like that second, the rest of the field will come down pit road here as well. So everyone's just trying to pit as soon as they possibly can to get it out of the way and over with. So they don't want to get separated out here. So we'll see if that's lead pack. We'll see that smaller pack here is Dakota Bly, Derek Riley. They'll get out together down pit road. Looks like Dan Barone will not be pitting as no one else came with him. So
looks like he just bluffed it, maybe.
A little bluff there. Maybe you want to see just say who's pitting.
Yeah.
See if anyone else is going to go with him.
But here comes the first pack off of pit lane, led by, it looks like Jason Bottoms, I believe. Yes, it is. Derek Riley and Dakota Blind pack together. Will they come? Will the first pack come in this time by? We'll see. Dan Barone was trying to get him going in the last time by. We'll see if we can get him going this time by. He's right there now, 33 in the middle there in the white machine. This pack is also kind of mixed in with some lap traffic as well, so it probably doesn't help either. I think lap traffic probably burned a little more fuel because they were by themselves. Will they come out this time? Nobody won't. Nobody will. So they continue to stay out here once more.
They can go to about 15 to go, so they have a pretty big. They can go pretty much all the way down to 15 to go. The bad news for that secondary pack now is that Cody Dorsey and Calvin Smith, who had a really bad pit stop, and they got really separated. And there's only a pack of 3 to a tandem of 2, so that pack of 3 gonna have to check up a little bit so Cody Dorsey and Calvin Smith can catch back up. And now they're trying to let them back in, but that's gonna cost them a lot of time. No doubt those 5 will lose the track once everyone else will come out that road.
Yeah, we'll see what the lap time is this time by, but we're not really too close together or another. But now they are. Here they go, 5-car pack this time by. They're at 52.5. It's about 1.7 seconds slower than the first pack. So yeah, most likely they're going to be a little bit further back from this first pack.
Yeah, they're gonna have to probably make up about 5 seconds. This week they were like that for about 2 or 3 laps, so they're gonna have to make up about 5 seconds with the smaller pack to the main pack right now. We'll see if they can maybe get worked up together. I say linked up together now, so we'll see if they can work strong enough, work a little bit better. Maybe make up some of the draft as last time by. They were a 42.6 second gap to the lead pack, so they probably have to get under about 38 to make it to stay tagged along. But Kyle Schmitz though, best field, they will come down pit road here as Kyle Schmitz lie a little bit of lockup, but he'll make it down just in time. Everyone makes it down to pit road. Everyone makes it down pit road nice and clean. A couple of lockups for the final round of pit stops. Can they stay in front of that smaller pack? I think they'll easily stay in front of that smaller pack, but Dan Barone, he'll actually get a really good pit stop. He'll jump out in front by a good margin over the rest. Joshua Schmitz will be Cole Lewis. Mike Marshall with Kyle Schmitz, really slow in the stall. Oh, but he did get speeding.
Like Kyle Schmitz
in the middle of pit road, he made it, got it low down in time. Yeah, so he sped, Kyle Schmitz sped on pit road. He was trying to push the speed limit a little bit too much. He sped on pit road.
It's gonna be only a 3-car pack out in front, looks like. Actually, Dan Barone a little bit further ahead, but he's gonna get chased down pretty quickly. So I think this second pack may be able to catch this first pack here.
And they already passed the rest of they were already just past the rest of it.
About 3 seconds behind.
Steven Horner and Scott Kerber. They have 3 seconds behind, and only a pack of 3. And then it's Dan Barone with a really great stop way out in front. He'll be a sitting duck, but everyone's linked up together strongly now. They're just pulling away. Scott Herbert, though, unfortunately, I think he may have just lost a tad, lost the draft just a little bit. Looks like Scott Herbert, he'll be left out by himself. Unfortunately, there for that 14 machine.
Yeah, we'll see if he gets caution here.
Colonel Blyde jumped out of line. He's a little bit farther back as well, but he'll tag back along. We'll see if that secondary pack of the majority of the field, if they can catch the top 4, as it looks like they will pick up Dan Barone. They won't pass him. So Dan Barone will be the race leader. It'll be Joshua Schmitz, Cole Lewis, and Mike D. Marshall, as they will try and link up together and try and stay away for the secondary pack here. led by Jason Bottoms. The gap this time by, we'll see at the line. It looks like it's going to be about two seconds, so you only need about a second to get within that draft, and it's a little even less than 2 seconds now. It's 1.8 seconds, and really about 1.5 to the tail end of Mikey Marshall, which will allow them a little bit more draft. So they only need about half a second. They're in the draft to lead back, and they actually have Robert Whipple and Dan Stockero coming out pit road to help them.
As here they come, as they're coming up pretty quickly here on the bottom of the racetrack. Return through and forward Daytona, they'll catch him probably at the ends here, or the front straight away most likely.
It's off of turn number 4. So you will catch them here. So now the packs merge together here with now just 16 laps to go here from Talladega. The chase them on is Derek Riley, Calvin Smith, Cody Dorsey now lead the top lane.
And Bond is clear. Will he stay up top? Looks like he will for now. Interesting strategy here. I guess he just likes running them more in the middle, top side, but looks like he'll go back down here, right there. Yes, he will. As he leads currently here at Talladega, coming to 15 laps to go.
And Jay Thumbs takes the lead. He's got Derek Riley behind him, Calvin Smith. They three jump to the top, and they jump to the bottom. The single ball, Calvin Smith is going to get contact from Dan Barone. He's going to get spun back up the racetrack in front of Brandon Cuxhausen. Looks like they keep it straight. No, they don't. They keep it, they spin it back down as Brandon Cuxhausen gets spun and brings out the yellow with 15 laps to go. And unfortunately there for Calvin Smith, as it looks like he got a little bit of contact with Dan Barone and sent him around in the trial. And good news for the rest of the drivers who just lost the draft in that after that pit cycle. They're able to maybe tag back along here as we'll drive back. Get about a 15 lap dash to the finish, but just a little bit too aggressive on that side draft. I mentioned it earlier, those drivers weren't too aggressive earlier on, but now later into this race, we're going to get very aggressive with the side draft here. These drivers are going to want to get moving and try and get that outside lane moving. Just a little bit too aggressive and just ended up turning around.
Yeah, it looks like Jason Bottoms will lead here. We'll see these drivers top it off on field as well. Probably just for the green light checker, maybe. So we'll see anyone come down pit lane and maybe go up some track position here. Doesn't look like we will for Jason Bottoms. It's the top few drivers. First one will be Cole Lewis down pit lane, get topped off on fuel, maybe fix some damage as well. Not sure if he was a little bit involved in that wreck, could maybe got tagged just so lightly. Scott Kerbergoff coming down pit lane, same with Calvin Smith as well, obviously. And now pit lane to fix that damage.
Yeah, but now this is going to make it a pretty much sprint to the finish here. It's going to make it interesting. Some drivers topping off on fuel. A few drivers able to get back into the main pack, get back on lead lap. Robert Whipple, I believe he will actually, no, it will be Brandon Cuxhausen. I'm not sure who it will get the wave around here. We'll have to take a look really quickly.
So it
looks like brand new will be the free pass recipients. This will be Robert Whipple, Dan Stockero. They will stay one lap down. Unfortunately for those two drivers, they're out for 2 more cautions as they'll have to fight with each other for the free pass. Good news for Scott Kerber, he lost the draft, and that after that round of pit cycles, he was able to jump back up. A couple others able to do the same. So restart with 11 laps to go here in the regular season. A few drivers looking to win their way in. A few drivers just trying to tick these laps off to get it to the playoffs and get settled in. These drivers just trying to point their way in, just maybe trying to stay out of trouble. We'll see how this plays out. Another thing we have not mentioned here tonight. I think we haven't mentioned here tonight our battle for the regular season championship is, so I mean, really kind of over already. Cody Dorsey 45 points in favor for that. Joshua Schmitz in second, 45 points behind Cody Dorsey. So Cody Dorsey gonna lock that one up, lock the regular season championship up here tonight. This gets to be some crucial extra bonus points for him. Before we get back going green, let's take a little quick field rundown here. We're coming to the restart with 11 laps to go. Jason Bottoms will be the race leader. Derek Riley will be second. Joshua Schmitz, Cody Dorsey, Mike D. Marshall, Dakota Bly, Stephen Horner, Dan Barone, Scott Kerber now around to the Dan Barone, then Kyle Schmitz will round to the top 10. It'll be Cole Lewis, Brandon Newton, and Calvin Smith will be around our lead lap drivers. It'll be 13. Dan Stockero, Robert Whipple will be running, and Brady Cuxhouse will be running one lap down, 14th, 15th, and 16th. And the rest of your afternoon, we are one driver to the DNF so far here tonight. But 11 laps to go for the Burlington Cafe 250 for the regular season finale of the Quantum Contender Series Season 2 as we work our way to the end of Reynolds restart zone. Green flags back in the air, back underway here from the 2.5 mile racetrack of Talladega. And our final 11 laps of the regular season underway. Jason Bottoms, a good luck. She'll jump up top in front of Derek Riley. He'll take better of it. He'll jump back down on the bottom in front of Joshua Schmitz. But both lanes a little bit separated here. We'll see who can get moving forward. What lane will start to build a little bit quicker.
Down the back straightaway they go. Off this restart here, the outside line doing a good job, a lot better than we've seen the past restarts here in the initial shot as well. So probably getting a good shot from Cody Dorsey. These drivers, with from the 10 laps together, they're going to be a lot more aggressive than we've seen the first 80 or so laps here tonight at Talladega.
The We'll see how this plays out, but 10 laps to go. Derek Riley, Cody Dorsey pushing each other on the top lane. Chasing bottoms. Kyle Schmitz working together on the bottom, but the outside lane a little bit stronger. The outside lane with a good shove from Cody Dorsey, a little bit of wiggle from Derek Riley. They'll wiggle up, they'll shake up the outside lane as they go 3 wide. Dan Barone gets shuffled out of the top lane. Robert Whipple as well, as it is Brandon Newton stuck in the middle. As Dakota Bly will jump down to the bottom with Cody Dorsey and Derek Riley. Kyle Schmitz will try and side draft back, but he's got no help as he got 3 wide on the top lane for about 5th on back.
It looks like they're already going too far here quickly, but as soon as I say that, here comes Derek. Looks like Kyle Schmitz on the outside, getting pushed by Joshua Schmitz as well. Derek Riley continues to lead, but here comes the outside line. They're going to go 3 wide. It looks like Joshua Schmitz backs out of it there. Maybe got a bad shove. Forcing up top. It looks like Kyle Schmitz will clear for the race lead. Will he take it though? Or will he stay up to the top side? Looks like he'll go down with Joshua Schmitz as well.
And Josh Schmitz, the father-son duo, they work the outside lane perfectly. They clear down in front of Derek Riley here with 8 laps to go here at Talladega. The outside led by Mike Marshall. He's got Brandon Newton right behind him. Dan Barone, Scott Kerber, the top 4 on the top lane as they try to push their lane forward here. As it looks like one driver, Cole Lewis, trying to jump out of the top lane and go 3 wide, trying to get an extra spot. That's going to slow the top lane down even more, and now that's going to allow the bottom lane to a little bit clear. We'll see if anybody hops up and trying to take that out, use the outside lane to their advantage. The top 5 on the inside lane clear as the top lane really starting to falter now, as now the 6 cars clear on the inside. No one hopping up here late, but no one hopping up here now, but surprisingly is I think really if I were on the bottom right now, like somewhere in GT Buzz position, I would just try and hop up and get that outside lane moving right now. Oh, but big wiggle there for Mike D. Marshall. Almost got turned way up the racetrack, and Scott Kerberg also thought they were going high. He has to check up as Cole Lewis jumps out of the top lane. But it looks like the outside lane, they're trying to get something to happen, but no one can. But some drivers in the back just want to try and make a third lane, which they have nowhere near the amount of cars to do, and it's just really just sabotaging that outside lane. Well, they had a wiggle in the middle of the pack as well. Actually, this top 5 separated now, as it looks like Jason Bottoms also dropped a little bit, but now Derek Riley, Cody Dorsey, Dakota Bly, they jumped to the top lane of Joshua Schmitz. They're going to side draft the 2 machine back. That's going to allow the rest of the field to catch back up here, as everyone tries to close the gap back up to the race lead, as now the packs will merge, but now we have a little bit of outside lane starting the moving now. Off at turn number 2, it is Derek Riley, Cody Dorsey off at turn number 2. They're cleared in front of Kyle Schmitz. So they'll stick to the top with their teammate Dakota Bly down the front back straightaway, but the inside lane working a little bit stronger. It's got Joshua Schmitz, Kyle Schmitz pushing the inside. And it's Dan Barone pushing Joshua Schmitz and Kyle Schmitz forward, and now they both get a good run on the bottom, and now the top lane starting to falter just a little bit. Jason Bottomsville's jumped down to the bottom behind Mike D. Marshall. A little bit of contact with Calvin Smith. Big wiggles from the middle of the pack. A little bit of calamity happening middle of the pack. Calvin Smith will jump out in front of Stephen Horner, trying to force his way in there. He works his way to the inside lane here. 5 to go from Talladega.
5 laps to go. These drivers got to make their moves to the front now. Especially drivers further on back. I will not be surprised if we see some 3 wide action here late.
So far, Derek Riley, Cody Dorsey pushing the top lane, trying to get something happening. It's Dakota Bly right behind, and now Scott Kerberg, now Robert Whipple will join. the outside, but they gotta get aggressive on this side draft. Calvin Smith, Jason Bottoms still jump up to the top lane, try to make something happen. At the outside lane, starting to just struggling to try and get moving right now. I don't think they're side drafting just hard enough, but now third lane gonna form. It's out Calvin Smith. Jason Bottoms will get split to the middle as Cody Dorsey and Derek Riley go to the top lane. We'll see how that top lane how will that change up. It looks like Scott Gerber trying to stay to the middle, try and pass a few of those drivers. Looks like we'll stay in the middle, but it looks like he's going to get forced down to the bottom, but they'll single file it back out of the top lane. So back to double file. But the outside lane really struggling to get moving.
Yeah, looks like they're kind of showing here late in this one, but maybe they can group up here. Looks like they're trying to form back up. They get a couple drivers, and there goes one driver up top.
Brand new, but they just can't get the lanes forward. They can't get the lanes forward right now. They're not pushing each other well enough, and then they don't. Everyone's just fighting for the lead. They're not just working well together. They're just allowing the inside lane to stay away right now. But now they got a little bit of uniform now as Mikey Marshall, Jason Bottoms, Calvin Smith, but they are not side drafting near as hard as they need to try and keep that outside lane moving forward. But if you gotta be Jason Bottoms, you gotta push Mikey Marshall as much as you can, but you also, if you're Mikey Marshall and everyone else, you gotta side draft the inside car. You can't leave about a lane gap right now, especially here with 3 to go. They're making something happen though. They're getting really good pushing, but as soon as Jason Bottoms, as long as they're not getting sideways, but Mikey Marshall will get turned into the Hammer-On, hard on the outside wall. Cody Dorsey goes around, and the big one happens with 3 to go. It was bound to happen with the outside lane just wobbling all over the place. No one really could get uniform on the top lane, and disaster will strike as Dan Barone on the inside lane. If it is a bystander, he will get turned as he got turned by Mikey Marshall, getting hooked by Jason Bottoms on the top lane. As let's see what happened here. Jason Bottoms was a little bit lower. Looks like Mikey Marshall drifted up a little bit. Jason Bottoms trying to push him through and just shifted out of line there.
Just trying to bump draft him and just.
Mikey Marshall comes up in front of Dan Barone. Multiple other drivers getting involved. Calvin Smith getting a huge piece of that. Derek Riley, Cody Dorsey, not Derek Riley. Cole Lewis.
As it's also going to be green-white checkered, so those drivers who topped off on fuel probably looking in a good spot here. Those drivers who stayed out, they will be probably okay with this first one, maybe not the second one. Could be close if we do get a second one here, obviously.
Now let's make a first attempt at a green-white checkered here tonight.
A few drivers getting off here, topping off on fuel and probably fixing some damage as well. Obviously, Jason Bottoms really destroyed. I think believe he does have a faster burst, so he should be okay. But that car all fixed up as much as he can. Same with Cody Dorsey as well. So looks like the top, I believe 7 staying out here. Yeah, looks like top 7 staying out on fuel and tires.
We'll see how this plays out. Some of these drivers looking for their first win of the year, trying to get into the playoffs. the ends tonight. Some drivers looking for the win. Scott Kerber, 55 points out, looking for a win here tonight. He's in a good spot now, sitting in that top 5, trying to lock himself in. Steven Horner also looking for a win to get in. Both those drivers in the top 5, looking strong. Derek Riley's put plus 11 entering tonight. He's just looking to try and hold on to his points position. Scott Kerber, apologies, once we get the wrong points standing. Scott Kerber 92 points out. Steven Horner 130. Brandon Newton looking for a win here tonight. Cole Lewis, but Cole Lewis just had a big incident there that might take him out of that one. Dan Stockero. Some of those drivers looking to get a win here tonight. Try and lock themselves in to the regular season finale. Going to come down to a green-white checkered here at Talladega. We'll have Kyle Schmitz be the race leader. He'll choose the outside on this restart.
Right here, the smoke, these drivers especially the drivers off the cutoff line, have heart beating a little bit quicker maybe, as you know, your season could come to an end really, or your championship run, your championship hopeful could come to an end here. Obviously, that's not the goal of every single driver, but you know, it's still nice to have a chance. You know, a little maybe slim, but still have a chance at a championship here late in the season. So we'll see these drivers. Drivers watch out for is Derek Riley in particular. He's the last driver in 10th place. Brendan Cuxhausen as well, currently a lap down, so about to have some help here late in this one as well.
You should have to hope for a quick yellow here, get back on the lead lap. You should have to battle Robert Wivel.
And Brandon Newton, so Brandon Newton has to win tonight.
Yeah, Brandon Newton's going to have to win tonight. Scott Kerber, Steven Horner, they both need wins. They're both lining up 3rd and 5th here. Those two drivers are teammates trying to work together. Can one of them get the win? Also, Scott Kerber racing in remembrance of his mother tonight. It'll be a storybook ending if he can win and lock himself in here on the regular season finale. End of the round of riddles restarts on green flag, back in the air, 2 laps to go here from Talladega. It's Kyle Schmitz with a great launch. He's on clear right now. He's going to stay to the top lane. He'll hop down in front of his son of Joshua Schmitz as Derek Riley all by himself on the top lane.
The inside lane should be really rolling here through turn 1, turn 2, and maybe even down the back as the outside lane not formed up at all. But here comes the cavalry up top, and then they can run down the back.
Derek Riley getting help from Dakota Bly. The inside lane. Can anyone hop up in top of the outside lane and force something to happen? Here comes Scott Kerber. He'll jump into the top lane. He's got help from Brandon Newton. They're going to push that outside lane forward as they'll have Derek Riley try to work that outside lane. But Brandon Newton's going to try and split Scott Kerber. He's going to split Scott Kerber. Kerber will go to the middle and he'll jump all the way to the back as no one will go with that 14 machine. Really big, unfortunate move there for Scott Kerber. He's going to try and slot back in line. It looks like Brandon Newton and Derek Riley will slot back in front. A little contact. Cody Notion will go around. More cars will go around. They made it back to the white flag as they took the white flag was raised. They will not get a caution. 1 lap to go here from Talladega.
As Brandon Newton fighting for his chance to fight for a playoff spot here late on the outside behind him. It's Derek Riley on that 17, but there goes 3 wide. Newton goes up the block, Riley goes up the middle as the outside lane fighting with each other currently.
They can't get formed up on the top lane. That's going to allow the inside lane pretty much all by themselves. It's the father-son duo. Kyle Schmitz, Joshua Schmitz pushing each other on the inside. Stephen Orr with a little bit of help from Dan Barone on the top, on the bottom. But it's Derek Riley and Dakota Blythe trying to push each other forward to the outside lane. Can they get enough of a run to get there? I don't think they will. It's Kyle Schmitz, Joshua Schmitz pushing together forward. They crash behind. Kyle Schmitz to themselves by the line. They will win at Talladega. Kyle Schmitz will win the regular season finale. Kyle Schmitz able to win the regular season finale. His season didn't start the way he wanted to. And a few life emergencies couldn't continue the race. But he ended 2025 with a great double win won both the races at doubleheader at Motegi. And now he opens up 2026 here with the regular season finale win. 3 weeks in to the new year, and Kyle Schmitz ends the regular season with 3 wins on the year, looking for a playoff push. A good win for Kyle Schmitz here tonight. You had Joshua Schmitz pushing him to the line. That outside lane I think that outside lane there they could not agree on who they wanted to lead, and that just ended up costing that outside lane. Kyle Schmitz, Joshua Schmitz just easily held on the inside, and Kyle Schmitz able to steal the win away here from Talladega. Still burn it down, but we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here from Talladega for our post-race interviews. Welcome back here to Talladega as we wrap up the Burlington Cafe 250. As we saw Kyle Schmitz able to pick up the win here tonight and pick up the regular season finale, his third win on the year. Before we get to our post news, let's take a look at tonight's results here for the Burlington Cafe 250. Kyle Schmitz able to pick up the win. Joshua Schmitz finishing in second, and Derek Riley finishing in third here tonight. Stephen Horner rounded out our fourth place position. Brandon New rounded out the top five. Calvin Smith in sixth. Dan Verone in seventh. Kittle by an eighth. Dan Stockdale in ninth. Scott Kerber rounds in the top 10. Finish 11th is the 5 of Jason Bottoms. Cody Dorsey finishing in 12th. He's a regular season champion. Robert Whipple finishing in 13th. Brandon Cuxhausen in 14th. Mike D. Marshall in 15th. And Cole Lewis running in 16th. And Rusty Rafferty running our 17th car field here tonight from Talladega. But it was our race winner of Kyle Schmitz able to pick up his third win on the season to round out the regular season champion. Champion, regular season finale. Apologies. Able to win the regular season finale here tonight at Talladega. How's it feel to be able to pick up your third win on the year?
Oh, this is fantastic. Like I said, I know you weren't here last week, but like I said last week, for my whatever place I finished, I said I was going to take chances, and I had to get past those three. They were working extremely well together. And I knew that I needed to get in front of them somehow, some way. So just kind of got a good run, kind of got past them a little bit. Josh snuck in behind me, pushed me by, and then just held the bottom. I did not want to throw any blocks or anything like that. That's usually how I crash. So try really hard not to do that. Other than that, it was pretty fun. This was one of the more fun races we've had with the drafting stuff. So that was really fun.
Yeah, you able to work with Joshua Schmitz there late, and all the way up to the end of the race there. But pick your third win on the regular season. As we kind of mentioned right at the end of 2025 on Talladega, you picked up 2 wins there. So you couldn't get some of the race finishes you hoped for in the early parts. Had some family emergencies as well, and you had to work your way up. But now you got 3 wins on the year heading into the playoffs. How's this build the momentum, and how are you gonna reset your mindset here for the playoffs, and maybe try and chase for a championship?
I'm going to be calm still. Try not to get too excited that I'll have the points lead going in. I think I was second last season going in, and I really sucked last season because I was a little too happy, a little too overconfident, and I really sucked it last year. So hopefully this year, just kind of keep my emotions in check. I'm excited to get to the playoffs. See what we can do.
It'll definitely be a fun watch next week at North Wilkesboro. But before we send it off on the way, any sponsor that think for tonight's race win?
Absolutely. As always, My Mom's Addictions on eBay. Check it out. A lot of NASCAR memorabilia along with diecast and stuff like that. Also, Spare Parts Gaming Community, racing on Xbox and iRacing as well. And of course, the league sponsors Quantum Bearings, KK Woodscapes, Burlington Cafe, Smackin', and Aaron and Talon at LRN. Appreciate everything you guys do for us.
Once again, congrats on your race win here tonight. We'll see you next week at North Wilkesboro.
Thanks. Have a good day.
So it's Kyle Schmitz, our race winner. We'll bring in our second place finisher of Joshua Schmitz here tonight. Able to get a solid second place run here. Almost trying to steal it away from Kyle Schmitz at the end there. But what do you think could go differently there late to maybe try and steal that race win away?
Well, I really didn't want to put the 17 into the wall. I saw that they crashed behind us. I didn't know if he still had help or not. But yeah, I mean, once we got too wide there coming to the line, I kind of conceded and accepted the fact that I was going to get second on this one.
You're sitting there in second, pushing Kyle Schmitz to the lead there. But how was throughout that final 10-lap run? How was working up front, working with Kyle Schmitz, and also trying to work your way up there? Just how stressful was that there late, and just trying to battle it out, watch that run on the top lane, and just try and solidify a top 3 finish?
Well, it was fun until that caution came out. We were good on fuel, and I knew that I could only really afford one overtime. Once the caution came, though, that's when it really got stressful, and just then weren't going to restart on the same row, and so that made it all a little weird, but we got through it.
Yeah, but overall, you'll pick up a solid second place finish here tonight, heading into the playoffs next week at North Wilkesboro. But before we send off on the way, any sponsors to thank for tonight's second place run?
Yeah, go check out Spare Parts Gaming Community on Facebook and My Mom's Addictions on eBay.
Let's get congrats on your second place finish. We'll see you in the playoffs next week at North Wilkesboro.
Thank you very much.
So Joshua Fitz, our second place finisher here tonight. We'll bring in our third place finisher of Derek Riley, able to almost get there at the line, but still picks up a solid third place run there. Let's talk us through that final little bit of run, trying to get that outside lane moving. Do you think it could have gone differently there? What could have went differently there to maybe try and steal the race win away?
Man, I don't know. It got really crazy at the end. We were 3 wide, obviously, and I didn't want there to be a new winner just because obviously that would kick me out of the playoffs. So whenever Newton got in front of me, I kind of made my mind up that however I could, I needed to get around him. So, but I'll take it. I think third was good enough, hopefully, to get in the playoffs. So we'll see.
As you mentioned, you were on the cut line in tonight, only by 11 points, but you're able to work your way in. Now you locked into the playoffs going into next week, North Wilkesboro. So just how is your mindset going into that? On that mindset tonight, being on the cut line, and how are you gonna be able to change your mindset next week, heading into the playoffs, and get ready for the playoffs?
Yeah, my mind will definitely be a lot more calm next week. But I hate it for Brandon. Obviously, he ended up a lap down there after that wreck. But yeah, kind of just like a refresh next week, a new start. So hopefully it goes well.
And we'll see how you can do in the playoffs next week. North Wilkesboro. Definitely gonna be a fun. But before I send off on the way, any sponsor you have to thank for tonight's third place run?
Yeah, definitely. I want to thank Quantum, Burlington Cafe, KK Woodscapes, My Mom's Addictions, Smackin'. Got to thank Dakota and Cody, the admins. They were definitely pushing me tonight, but yeah, they definitely helped me a lot.
Once again, congrats on your third place finish here tonight. We'll see you in the playoffs next week at North Wilkesboro.
All right, thank you.
So that was our third place finisher of Derek Riley here tonight, being our final place into the playoffs next week. And it'll be fun to watch next week at North Wilkesboro. Definitely one of my personal favorite racetracks. These drivers are going to enjoy it next week. We'll see put on a great race next week at North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, it should be a good, unique racetrack here, and obviously getting raced in real life in the regular season out as well for NASCAR. So should be a fun one there next week in North Wilkesboro, and then obviously the playoffs are starting in general. Very different racetracks. No two similar really racetracks as Vegas and Chicagoland. Get kind of similar somewhat, but other than that, pretty much completely different racetrack week to week, and should just be a fun playoffs there. And the first round honestly is really interesting with the short track, road course, and then obviously Chicagoland, probably one of the best 1.5 mile tracks as well.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out, and then we'll have Daytona to open up the round, the championship 5. So we'll see how this plays out. Coming into the final 6 races of the season. Before we get there, coming up next week here on Let's Racing Network, Wednesday night we'll have the Superstar Race Series at Echo Park Speedway, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time, the New Atlanta Super Speedway. And on Thursday night, we'll have the Contender Series at North Wilkesboro, 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time, to open up their playoffs next week. Another fun one here tonight from Talladega, from the Burlington Cafe 250, the regular season finale. I'm Aaron Brown, joined alongside my co-commentator and producer tonight of Talent Drake. It's definitely a fun one here from Talladega, Alabama. We'll see you next time here on the Legends Racing Network.